Welcome to the DCTV News at Noon program. I'm Kelsey Kiesling.
And I'm Kendra Cook. Dolores County Broadcasting Network is the producer of DCTV with support from the Southwest Colorado TV Translator Association.
If you have a news topic or event you'd like to see covered, give us a call. The studio number is 677-4119.
Today's show runs Thursday at noon and is uploaded to our YouTube channel and our DCTV News at Noon Facebook page to watch on demand. Today is May 2nd, 2019, and now the news at noon.
Reported by the Cortez Journal, an autopsy done Tuesday on a Durango man found dead last week on Smelter Mountain has not helped authorities piece together the circumstances of his death, according to La Plata County Coroner Jan Smith. David Mondragon, age 31, was found dead Friday on Smelter Mountain after it appeared his car went off a mountainside. He was reported missing by family members last month after last being seen leaving Steamworks Brewing Company around 9 p.m. April 10th. The question for authorities is, when did Mondragon's car go off Smelter Mountain and why, Smith said. He was driving a silver 1998 Toyota 4Runner. Authorities have ruled out foul play and suicide, and it appears the car going off the mountain was accidental, Smith said. Now, investigators are awaiting the results of a toxicology report, which could take a couple weeks to see if drugs or alcohol played a part in the incident. Smith believes the crash and Mondragon's death happened a few days before the body was discovered Friday. Investigators with the La Plata County Sheriff's Office, however, believe Mondragon had been dead on Smelter for quite a while, possibly soon after he first went missing around April 10th.
Reported in the Journal, photo San Miguel Sheriff's Office. Colorado Highway 145 fully reopened to traffic shortly before 2 p.m. on Wednesday after a crash between a bus and semi-trailer around 9:30 a.m. closed the highway. 9 people on board the bus, including the bus operator, were transported to Telluride Medical Center for medical evaluation. No one sustained life-threatening injuries, according to a news release issued by Lisa Schwantes, a spokeswoman with the Colorado Department of Transportation. All passengers were set to be transported by van to Grand Junction. By about 1:35 p.m., all crashed vehicles, debris, and hazardous materials had been cleared from the highway. The bus was towed to the town of Telluride. The truck was towed safely off the highway to the parking area off the scenic lookout located along Colorado 145 near the crash scene. The truck will be moved at a later time. The highway was fully closed for about 2.5 hours before one lane was cleared for alternating north and south traffic. According to the San Miguel Sheriff's Office, the crash involved a bus and a semi-trailer at mile marker 65 near the Alta Lakes turnoff. Fuel leakage caused a hazardous materials response. CDOT confirmed that the bus involved in the crash was the Bustang Outrider, a commercial passenger carrier that has a daily round-trip route from Durango to Grand Junction. Bustang has stops in Mancos, Cortez, and Dolores. It's operated by Roadrunner Stage Lines based in Ignacio. A Roadrunner official confirmed that a van was dispatched to pick up its stranded passengers. Also, the bus route to Grand Junction was canceled for the day. Because of a spring snowstorm causing hazardous road conditions, CDOT travel restrictions were put in place at 9:20 a.m. for the section of highway where the crash occurred, and they were lifted at 12:48 p.m. The restrictions required chains for all commercial vehicles and four-wheel drive or snow tires for passenger vehicles. San Miguel Sheriff's Office deputies, Telluride Fire, EMS, Colorado State Patrol, and CDOT responded to the scene.
According to the Durango Herald, measles in the U.S. has climbed to its highest level in 25 years, closing in on 700 cases this year, in a resurgence largely attributed to misinformation that is turning parents against vaccines. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention said 695 cases had been reported in 22 states this year as of Wednesday afternoon. That is up from 626 reported Monday and makes this the nation's worst year for measles since 1994, with 8 months still to go in 2019. There were 963 cases in 1994. Roughly three-quarters of this year's illnesses in the U.S. have been in New York State, mainly in two ultra-Orthodox Jewish communities in Brooklyn and suburban Rockland County. Most of those cases have been in unvaccinated people. The number of cases is likely to go even higher. Measles is highly contagious and can spread through the air when someone coughs or sneezes. And in recent days, Jewish families have been gathering for Passover meals. It can take 10 to 12 days for symptoms to develop. The CDC recommends the vaccine for everyone over a year old except for people who had the disease as children. Those who have had measles are immune.
Reported in the Dove Creek Press, courtesy photo. Our very own Oma Fleming was recognized by the Western Region of CSU Extension for her hard work and dedication to CSU Extension in Dolores County. Oma received the Kelly Clark Outstanding Administrative Assistant Award. This award recognizes those who go above and beyond to move our mission of community engagement forward through their work in the Extension office. Oma received her award at the CSU Extension Western Region meeting in Ouray last week. Oma is the daughter of parents who originally homesteaded in Dolores County in the 1930s. She worked on the family farm and started working in the Extension office in the late 1970s as a work-study student while in high school. She graduated from Dolores County High School in 1981 and briefly attended Fort Lewis College in Durango. Oma has been the administrative assistant in the Dolores County Extension office for 39 years and has been one of the main driving forces in the success of all of our Extension programs. The 7 grants that Dolores County Extension has submitted, with 5 being successful over the last 5 years, bringing in $2,320,000, would never have been possible if not for her dedication, patience, attention to detail, long hours, and extraordinary assistance. She is the main coordinator of all of our 4-H programming and has kept this important program running strong. The Extension office regularly has student and part-time employees, and Oma is the day-to-day supervisor and workload allocator. Oma is well respected within the Western Region of Extension and is known as a highly reliable resource among the staff of other Extension offices. The Dolores County Extension office provides many wide-reaching programs that impact not only Dolores County but other communities within the Four Corners region. These programs are complex and require significant time and dedication of all staff in the office. Oma has been a true team player, role model to youth, and a unique and dedicated employee to Dolores County and Colorado State University Extension. Congratulations to Oma for this prestigious honor.
From the Durango Herald, Mercy Regional Medical Center has changed how it manages the pain of emergency room patients to help prevent opioid addiction. Instead of prescribing narcotics to some patients, the hospital staff is using alternative medications and treatments, said Paul Gibson, director of the ER. The program, which launched December 1st, is helping to change that practice. For example, if a patient comes to the hospital with a broken hip, staff might inject the area with lidocaine, a localized anesthetic, to numb the area instead of prescribing an opioid. If a patient comes with a painful infection, treatment will focus on the infection. Limiting opioid prescriptions is an important step to help stop opioid-related deaths, Gibson said. And now let's take a look at the weather.
Okay, let's give it a go with the local area DCTV 5-day weather outlook. Today, mostly sunny with a high near 59 degrees, though some clouds were lingering out there this morning over Dove Creek, and I felt a few drops of rain in the early morning. Light south, southwest, southeast winds. Tonight, mostly clear with a low around 34 degrees. Then Friday, warming up a bit, sunny with a high near 61, still feeling cool with the northerly winds. Friday night, mostly clear with a low around 39. A beautiful weekend on tap. Be sure to get out to one of the fundraisers for the Pick and Hoe at the state line, either Saturday or Sunday. Saturday, it's going to be even warmer, mostly sunny with a high near 67. Saturday night, partly cloudy with a low around 42. And again, warming up further on Sunday, sunny with a high near 70. Sunday night, partly cloudy with a low around 45. And Monday, mostly sunny with a high near 67. Monday night, partly cloudy with a low around 44. Tuesday, partly sunny with a high near 63. Tuesday night, mostly cloudy with a low around 41. And now back to the news.
According to the Cortez Journal, in preparation for summer festivities, the Mancos Town Board unanimously approved an ordinance this week allowing for alcohol consumption in public places. Staff said the ordinance was necessary because state liquor laws that went into effect January 1st prohibit open containers and consumption of alcohol in public places. The town's board members voted to amend this law at their April 24th meeting to accommodate the upcoming Mancos Days and the 4th of July fireworks celebrations. According to a staff report prepared by Town Administrator Heather Alvarez, the changing state laws make it unlawful for any person to consume any fermented malt beverage or malt, vinous, or spirituous liquor in any public place unless on a licensed premises permitted under alcohol licensing provisions. But the town could amend this law, Alvarez said, to allow for alcohol consumption on town-owned properties, particularly for events like Mancos Days and the 4th of July celebration. Organizers of such events will need to apply for an open container permit with at least 45 days' notice and a $100 fee. Staff will alert the Mancos Colorado Days Association and Mancos Volunteer Fire Department with the new requirements. The Make His Days celebration is July 26th through 28th.
From the Durango Herald, file photo. Senator Michael Bennet of Colorado, a champion of political moderation, announced Thursday that he would join the crowded Democratic presidential race. Bennet announced in April that he had been diagnosed with prostate cancer. After surgery, he reported that it had been successful and he had no need for further treatment. He made his announcement Thursday during an interview on CBS News' This Morning program. He is the 21st major candidate to enter the Democratic primary. Bennett's entry as a self-described pragmatic idealist adds yet another more moderate face to a sprawling Democratic field that has been dominated for the first few months of the nomination race by more liberal voices. In his travels to Iowa and New Hampshire this year, Bennet has repeatedly called on Democratic voters to resist the lure of more ideological extreme candidates in favor of a nominee who is positioned to reject pressure by its left wing. Quote, "We've got to nominate somebody who can beat Donald Trump," he said at a recent stop in Concord, New Hampshire. "That means we have a responsibility not to do ourselves in." Bennet, age 54, has called Medicare for All a bad opening offer to achieve broader health care coverage and prefers creating a public option for health coverage that could be offered in the current structure of the Affordable Care Act. He has been critical of liberal calls to pack the Supreme Court with more justices to counteract its current conservative-leaning majority. Instead, his policy prescriptions have been more conventional, including calls for fiscal responsibility. He has co-sponsored legislation to expand the child tax credit and described the lack of economic mobility and growing economic inequality as the most pressing issue facing the country. A book he has written on his policy prescriptions for the country include a vision for moving beyond its political polarization, and that will be released later this year. Born in New Delhi while his father was working for the U.S. ambassador to India, Bennet was raised in the District of Columbia and educated at St. Albans School. He later earned degrees from Wesleyan University and Yale Law School. His younger brother, James Bennet, the editorial page editor of the New York Times, vowed to recuse himself from any work related to the presidential election if his brother entered in the race. The future senator showed an early interest in following his family's calling in politics. His grandfather had been an advisor to Franklin Delano Roosevelt, and his father also worked in the State Department and for several Democratic senators. In junior high school, Bennet worked as a Senate page. He later worked for then Ohio Governor Dick Celeste, Democrat, and as an attorney at the Justice Department during Bill Clinton's presidency before moving to Colorado in 1997. There, Bennet worked as an investment advisor for Anschutz Investment, which is run by the conservative billionaire Philip Anschutz, a major Republican donor. He is the second politician from Colorado to enter the 2020 race, following former Governor John Hickenlooper, whom Bennet previously worked for when Hickenlooper was mayor of Denver. Bennet later served as the superintendent of Denver Public Schools before his appointment to the Senate in 2009 to fill a vacant seat. He has held there ever since.
From the Durango Herald, Durango Public Schools have received a $1.1 million grant from the Colorado Division of Homeland Security to support and build upon existing school safety efforts. For several years, Durango School District 9R has been increasing safety and security measures at schools, and the grant aims to build upon existing training for staff and existing safety and security projects at district buildings. To win the grant, 9R had to establish it had a strong school safety and security program. The state required a district to already have secured buildings, trained staff, students, and security personnel, a strong relationship with local law enforcement, and a school district safety task force team. Among other requirements, the district will have 2 years to use the grant funds. The grant comes from Colorado's School Security Disbursement Program. It provides funding to improve security in public school facilities and vehicles and to support training for school personnel. Statewide, $29 million in grants were awarded to school districts by the Division of Homeland Security. This summer, work funded by the grant will be used to redesign and rebuild of vestibules at Animas Valley and Needham Elementary Schools.
Reported by the Journal, photo courtesy. Save our history, tell our stories. That's the motto of the future Montezuma Heritage Museum, and a fundraising campaign has begun to make it a reality. A kickoff event for the effort will be from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. on May 11th at the new museum located at 35 South Chestnut Street in Cortez. A short program on the museum project, tours of the building, refreshments, a blessing by the Ute Mountain Tribe, and music by the Lindells will be offered. The Montezuma County Historical Society has been working for years to bring back a museum to Cortez, which has not had one since the 1950s. The Society has an impressive collection of stored artifacts, but the small nonprofit has lacked funding for a museum location. In 2018, the plan got a major boost when the county commissioners donated a long-term lease for the museum in the 4,800 square foot former social services building, part of the county complex in downtown Cortez. It's the perfect building and location with plenty of parking, said Ann Brown, Historical Society board president. The fundraising campaign has a goal of $275,000 to pay for the remodeling and front facade. So far, $91,000 has been raised. The capital campaign organizers are Ed Merritt, Joe Keck, Vivian and Phil Kenyon, and Barbara Stagg. An architect has developed designs that include a reception area, exhibit space, museum store, archive and genealogy section, curation and research area, assembly and meeting rooms, and audiovisual area. The building will include an outdoor patio as well and murals on the outside wall. The museum will tell the story of Montezuma County, including the history of the Native Americans, Hispanic, and pioneer cultures. It will feature archaeology, Western heritage, explorers, irrigation and agriculture, the railroad, industry, the environment, mining, and logging, the Dolores Project, recreation, and more. A core group of about 20 volunteers have been doing the initial demolition work, Brown said, removing most of the doors, walls, and ceilings that made up the building's 24 small offices. So far, 400 hours of volunteer work have been logged on the remodel. Volunteers are being sought to help with renovations. A feasibility study was completed that included surveys, fundraising outreach, building inspections, architectural plans, and artist renderings of the remodeled building. A donor recognition wall will be just inside the front door, and there are also opportunities for donors to have permanent plaques inside. 2 large donations have been made, including one for $10,000 and one for $22,000. The Historical Society has pitched in $30,000 from its budget. Onward awarded the project a $3,000 grant this year, and the Ballantyne Family Foundation donated $5,000 last year that paid for the architect and feasibility study. A museum committee is being formed to help figure out what the different exhibits will be. The board will be representative of the different cultures and include curation professionals, historians, and professionals in local industry. An expert in museum displays will likely be sought for the final exhibit designs and layouts. Once enough money is raised, the remodel project will be put out for a bid for contractors. The plan is to have the museum completed and open by 2020. A garage sale in front of the new museum from 8 a.m. to noon on Friday, tomorrow, May 3rd, will be held to sell off items from the remodeled project, such as windows, doors, lumber, and insulation. Prices will be affordable.
According to the Cortez Journal, the Hilltop House Board of Directors has chosen a new director for the Community Correction Center, one they hope will be more involved with the community, said Board Chairman Tom Harms. Sally Frey, one of 30 candidates considered for the position, will start as Executive Director May 8th, Harms said. Frey has experience in inmate re-entry programs with the Department of Corrections and Parole in Kansas, crime prevention and early intervention with children and nonprofits, Harms said. She also has degrees in psychology and marriage and family therapy, he said. Frey told directors in an interview that she doesn't want to spend the rest of her life in Kansas and had always dreamed of living in Colorado, Harms said. Frey will take the position being vacated by John Schmeier, who oversaw Hilltop House for about 17 years and resigned earlier this year. Harms at the time declined to discuss details of Schmeier's resignation. He said, "I feel it's a personal matter." Schmeier was the subject of at least 2 internal investigations accusing him of sexual harassment. Harms on Wednesday acknowledged there being things that need to change and update and rejuvenate at Hilltop House, but he declined to get into specifics, saying the Board of Directors has yet to establish a strategic plan for new leadership.
And today's High Canyon Country happenings. May 3rd at 7 p.m., the Cortez Lions Club 15th year sponsorship of Misto the Magi Magic Show. That's held to raise funds for the Lions Recycle for Sight Eyeglasses Drive and fundraiser. It'll be held at the Montezuma Cortez High School auditorium. It's $5 at the door for everyone. All proceeds from this event will go to provide eye exams, eye care, and glasses for children and other individuals in Cortez and the surrounding area who need these services and are not covered by other programs. May 4th at 2 p.m., it's Richard Friedman, the Chacuan Landscape at the Edge of the Cedars State Park Museum in Blanding, Utah. As part of the Four Corners Lecture Series, the Edge of Cedars Museum is pleased to present Richard Friedman to discuss, quote, using computer technology to aid in the identification, documentation, and visualization of the Chacoan landscape. May 5th, it's the May Group Ride in Brown Springs, Sunday, 10 a.m. at the Fun Center Cycles. Well, it starts at the Fun Center Cycle Center in Durango, the first group ride of the spring. It's at Cinco de Mayo. What better way to kick off riding the season? If you made it to this ride last year, you know that the Farmington BLM has done a fantastic job with the Brown Springs Campground and the Glade Perimeter Loop. They're expected to see the updates to the camping and the trail. They say they'll meet at the Brown Springs area on Sunday, May 5th at 10 a.m. As usual, if you'd like to meet at the Fun Center and Caravan, they'll be at the Durango shop at 8 a.m., leaving the parking lot by 8:30. Brown Springs is a destination on Google Maps. You can look it up. Not familiar with Brown Springs? It's a fantastic new camping area with new bathrooms, a kids' riding area, and a large parking area. It also allows easy access to the perimeter loop. This is an easy ride that all types of vehicles will be able to participate in. The full loop takes a few hours. Plan on bringing water and snacks for your group. They plan to be back at the Brown Springs area by 3 p.m. Looking forward to seeing some old and some new machines out there. This event is free and all ATV, UTV riders are welcome. Please make sure you've got current registration for your machine and be aware the kids 17 and younger are required to wear a helmet. And all of these happenings are posted on our DCTV News at Noon Facebook page, along with the YouTube replays, weather, original stories, and local posts. To share your event or information, you can contact us by email dcbnnews@gmail.com or call the station 970-677-4119.
Thanks for tuning in. News at Noon airs at noon Monday through Thursday and then is available online on our YouTube channel and our DCTV News at Noon Facebook page on demand.
Be sure to like us there on Facebook and join in on the news of our area. And of course, please share it with a friend.
For Kendra Cook with DCTV and the News at Noon program out of Dove Creek, USA, I'm Kelsey Kiesling. Thanks for watching.